Most of you that are listening to me right now are familiar and know of the comedian Steve Harvey. He is presently the host of the television game show Family Feud. I love Family Feud. I've watched it for many, many years when Ray Combs and Richard Dawson were hosts there. And Steve is the present host of Family Feud. He also had a television show called The Steve Harvey Show back in the day, where he had a principal cohort whose character name was Regina. She was the principal in the television show. I enjoyed that show immensely. And to add to that, it was a funny show. That show was to me. But outside of that, Steve Harvey stand-up comedy has never been funny to me. Just a footnote. And I'll talk about that later. But anyway, that's not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to make the statement that maybe Steve Harvey is not who we think he is, or who he pretends he is. Because Steve Harvey has sort of a tainted and shady past as it relates to relationships, marriage more specifically. Steve Harvey is on his third marriage. He pretends, or at least in his own mind, he believes that he is a relationship expert. I've watched his talk show where he talks about relationships, and he even wrote a book, Think Like a Man. And there was a movie done after that, Think Like a Man. What makes Steve Harvey a relationship expert? When his second wife, Mary Harvey, was cheated on by Steve, who had a mistress of whom he's married to today, Marjorie. Now, to beat all, Marjorie was in a relationship with a big drug kingpin. And then after a period of time, he went to prison. And then allegedly, she hooked up with his cousin, who was also a drug dealer, big drug dealer. And now she's with Steve Harvey. Now, let that marinate in your mind. Steve is aware, because the public is aware. Everybody's aware, so he has to be aware as far as who he's dealing with. Personal choice, maybe? Alright, so let's back up to Mary Harvey real quick, and I'm not going to stay long. I just want your insights, your input, if you will. So, Steve Harvey was cheating on Mary Harvey with this mistress. Of course, Mary found out. Steve kicked her out of her home. She was homeless, and from what I understand, she had to live in a car for a period of time. And he also denied her visitation of their son. But this is the relationship expert, right? And he basically had taken away all of her so-called accumulated wealth during the time that they were married. And according to insiders, he was bullying her for several years, him and his people. So she finally came out and did a couple interviews, and the people that interviewed her asked her the question, after all of these years, you've been divorced since 2004 approximately, why now? Why are you coming out with this information? She said, because I can't take it emotionally anymore. Him bullying on me. And then she still, up until 2011, this is 2018 now, but up until 2011, from my last observation and from my last recording that I watched, he still did not allow her the visitation of their son. So I wasn't a fly on the wall. I don't know all of the inner workings of that relationship or the past relationship, but some of this bears scrutiny. So when we see Steve Harvey on his television show, and when we see him hosting the Apollo show, and when we see him on Family Feud, note the word family, is he really a family man? Or is he a shyster? Is he a flam flam man? Is he someone who's posing as someone credible, but he just got in where he fit in? What do you think about Steve Harvey? I don't hate the man, but I detest any man, black, white, yellow, red, whatever, that will abuse another human being, especially their spouse, in the way that it is said that he has, cheating on her and then leaving her out there to fend for herself. Karma is something else, and it's going to come back and get Steve. We have seen what happened to O.J. Simpson. We have seen what happened to Bill Cosby. We have seen what happened to many celebrities who lived that sort of crazy life, that sort of I'm bad type of mentality. We've seen even Martha Stewart get it stuck to her trying to be cocky. You see, when you try to be cocky, it's only going to last so long. And then when you have everybody in the audience thinking that you are this example of everything that's right, they have blinders on and they really don't want to see the truth or even hear it for that matter, because they have grown accustomed to you. Oh, I just love me some Steve Harvey, some would say. But what if you found out that these things were actually true? Or would you even investigate at all? Do you even care? I do. Because anytime we start to reverence another human being, they've got to have some skills. They've got to have some qualities. They have to have some values. They have to have a certain character to make me want to be part of their club. And if you have no character, and that's very, very akin to godliness, I have a tendency to digress or to back away from you, because I don't know if I can trust you or not. Maybe Steve Harvey is not who he says that he is. You let us know. Do you think he is? This is Brother Teacher. I'll wait your answer.